Osman Gazi, from Söğüt to Empire, the birth of the Ottomans. Welcome to today's episode. In this journey, we'll dive deep into the life of Osman Gazi, the man who laid the foundations of the Ottoman Empire. From his birth in Söğüt to his final days, Osman's story is one of resilience, vision, and transformation. Early life and background. Osman was born in 1258 in Söğüt, a small frontier town in Anatolia. His father, Ertuğrul Gazi, was the leader of the Kei branch of the Oghuz Turks. The Kei tribe lived in the fertile plains of Söğüt and the highlands of Domanik. While reliable records of Osman's childhood are scarce, folk traditions tell us that his mother was Hame Anna, remembered as a wise and respected figure. Growing up in a frontier environment, Osman was surrounded by constant tension between the Turks and the Byzantine lords. This atmosphere shaped his character and prepared him for leadership. Rise to leadership. In 1281, when Ertuğrul Gazi passed away at the age of 90, Osman inherited the leadership of the Kei tribe. Following Oghuz customs, he became the bey of his people. His leadership coincided with a time of great change. The Seljuk Sultanate of Rum was weakening, and new opportunities were opening for ambitious frontier leaders. First conquests. Osman quickly proved himself in battle. His first major success was the capture of Kalaka Hisar near İnegöl. This was the very first fortress taken by the Ottomans, marking the beginning of their expansion. In 1286, he won the Battle of Domanik, securing Karakahisar. These victories were not just military achievements, they symbolized the birth of a new power in Western Anatolia. Strategy and alliances. Osman understood that success required more than brute force. He built alliances with neighboring leaders and warriors. Among them was Kozay Mihal, a Byzantine lord of Harmankaya who later converted to Islam and became one of Osman's closest companions. Together with allies like Samsa Kavas and Turgut Alp, Osman launched raids across the Sakarya River Valley, targeting towns such as Sorkun, Tarakli, and Goynik. The birth of the Ottoman state. The year 1299 is often considered the official founding of the Ottoman Empire. With the decline of the Seljuks, Osman declared independence. He distributed lands to his family and companions as derliks, strengthening loyalty and governance. For example, Eskişehir was given to his brother Gunduz Bey, Karakahisar to his son Orhan, and İnegöl to Turgut Alp. This system ensured that his followers were invested in the success of the new state. The turning point. Battle of Baphius. In 1302, Osman faced the Byzantine army near Yalova in the Battle of Baphius, also known as the Battle of Koyunhisar. This was the first major confrontation between the Ottomans and the Central Byzantine forces. Osman's victory here was decisive. It transformed his beylik from a frontier principality into a rising state. Following this triumph, Osman's forces captured Kite Fortress, Oraneli, and the island of Alyos in Lake Ulubat. These conquests expanded Ottoman territory and boosted their reputation. Expansion and siege of Bursa. Between 1308 and 1315, Osman's forces captured strategic fortresses along the Iznik-İzmit road, including Karahisar, Lefki, Makisi, Akizar, Gave, and Golpazari. The ultimate prize, however, was Bursa, the largest Byzantine city in the region. Osman knew that his forces were not strong enough to storm Bursa's massive walls. Instead, he adopted a strategy of blockade. He built two small fortresses, known as Havail Hisars, to tighten the siege. He entrusted their command to his nephew Aktamur and his loyal companion Balanchik. Over time, Bursa became increasingly isolated, surrounded on three sides by Ottoman territory. Legacy and transition of power. By the end of his reign, Osman had expanded his father's lands from about 4,800 square kilometers to nearly 16,000. This remarkable growth laid the foundation for future Ottoman expansion. In his later years, Osman suffered from illness and old age. He gradually handed over leadership to his son Orhan, who would later capture Bursa and continue the empire's rise. Osman's death is generally placed around 1324. While some claim he died in Bursa, most historians believe he passed away in Söğüt. Initially buried beside his father, his remains were later moved to Bursa after its conquest, resting in the Gümüşlü Kumbut, known today as Osman's tomb. Outro. Osman Gazi's life was a story of vision and perseverance. From a small frontier tribe, he built the foundations of an empire that would last for over 6 centuries. His legacy was not just in the lands he conquered, but in the system of governance, alliances, and strategies that allowed the Ottomans to thrive. And from Söğüt to Bursa, Osman's journey reminds us how determination and foresight can shape the course of history.